very special guest joining us to provide some more information on how we can predict tropical storms and hurricanes like the one developing in the Atlantic. May we introduce Pablo Ramirez from the National Hurricanes. Okay, sorry. It's really hot. Okay.
It is, I'm dying.
Okay. Thank you, Anthony. Today we have a very special guest joining us to provide some more information on how we can predict tropical storms and hurricanes like the one developing in the Atlantic. May we introduce Pablo Ramirez from the National Hurricane Center. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Ramirez.
It's a pleasure to be here, Veronica.
So, Pablo, before you go into any detail about hurricanes, how accurate are our predictions?
Well, Veronica, you have to understand that predicting the weather has come a long way in the last century. However, we have very sophisticated tools available to us right now, like satellite images and the Doppler radar. These errors still have a substantial effect on the damage done to a certain area. A difference of 100 miles could determine whether or not people are forced to evacuate. A meteorologist can only make a guess, and a guess can always be wrong.
So what has changed how we predict hurricanes today from how they used to be?
Well, now we have better computer models, a better understanding of how the atmosphere works, and in addition to that, more data of what's happening from these satellites. These satellites have an enormous impact on our understanding of ability to predict where they will go. These remarkable eyes in the sky, so to speak, generate stunning images and huge amounts of data, allowing forecasters to watch every move a hurricane makes. Also, knowing the distribution of wind and pressure over ocean and land allows us to know what's going to happen in, say, the Bermuda Triangle and North Dakota at the same time. This has reduced forecast errors from around a quarter to a third.
How do you actually predict hurricanes?
I'm glad you asked. Once a hurricane is formed, it can be tracked. We usually predict its path for about 3 to 5 days in advance. The hurricane's possible trajectory is represented as a cone, which shrinks over time as the error in the prediction decreases. We use a couple different models to predict the path. The CYPER is one of them, which helps us with the climate and persistence. To measure a hurricane, we use the Saffir-Simpson hurricane scale, which tells you if it's a Category 1 hurricane or a Category 5 hurricane. We also look at the wind speeds based on this scale. It allows us to measure the hurricane and channel the information to everyday people, just like you guys at home.
Thank you, Pablo. We appreciate you being here with us today and sharing your knowledge on predicting hurricanes. In other news...
That's good.
That was good.
You want to watch that? Because that actually could be like a
Like,
legit take. Even though I started improvising randomly.
Oh, it's fine. You're good. I just kind of don't know.
I was so hoping you wouldn't like randomly start laughing.
I tried to stop.
Oh.